Scott with YourPathToAdventure.com. Today I'm here to talk about penny stoves and how you can easily make your own. There's a lot of different types of stoves that you can make on your own. I prefer the penny stove because it tends to burn very well, and you could use a variety of fuels in it. The one important thing to note is not to use fuels that are explosive like gasoline, because that could be hazardous. So in the video you'll notice that I took, the first step is to take the two different cans. You measure 1 inch from the bottom and 1/2 inch from the bottom, and you cut them along the edge. The 1/2 inch one goes inside the one that's a longer one. That way it creates a lip around here so that you can prime your stove. So this is a stove that I made a couple years ago that I tend to use a lot for backpacking. This was made from a Foster's beer can. You'll note it has a little hump here, which is, it's a little bit easier to fit it in and stuff like that with the Foster's beer cans. But Pepsi cans, Dr. Pepper cans, things like that work rather well. So the first thing you want to do is you want to note my technique that I used to cut the cans in half. I cut the top of the can off, threw it away, and I had a line that I drew with a marker, a permanent marker that was 1 inch, and then like I said on this one it was 1/2 inch. So then what you do is you take the scissors and you just cut tabs along the edge. Then you fold the first tab out and then you can just cut. The tabs fall right off. That tends to work a little bit better than scoring it with a razor. Plus razors are a little bit dangerous, so I don't like using those, or X-Acto knives. So to make the simmer ring, which I didn't really show how to make that in the video, you can just take another soda can and then use the X-Acto knife to score this and pop out the bottom, and then you'll have this. And the purpose of the simmer ring is that you put it in here before you light your stove, and then it makes the flame so that it's not as hot, so that you can actually simmer food and cook it slower so it doesn't burn. So this is the stove that we made that you can see up here in the video. And this is basically, I just used a push pin and a thumbtack to poke all the holes. You'll notice these holes aren't as even or smooth, whereas this one I used a little bit different technique. I used a drill, which I then found out later it wasn't necessary because the push pins work rather well. I've made a lot of these stoves, so I've learned a lot of new different techniques that work and some that don't work. So basically you just take the top half that you do. Notice in the video too when I poked the holes that I left the can as one piece when I poked all the holes. It just makes it easier to handle. So now once you get your two pieces, once you get your two pieces cut, you take the top piece and then you crimp it with the pliers and you bend it, and this helps it seat inside the bigger piece a little bit better so that it doesn't fall out. So now the next step is you push them together, and then you're ready to actually use your stove. So you'll notice that you put a penny in here. Well, first, before you do that, you want to fill the fuel up. So you pour the fuel in 3 times to the top of here and then let it drain in, should be sufficient. Then you put it in here, put the penny in here, pour more fuel in. You want to make sure you get it around the edge here too. And then fill it up and light it. And that allows the stove to prime so that it superheats the fuel underneath and then basically vaporizes it. So fuel vapors come out the jet holes, which are the holes that we poked with the thumbtack, and then they come out at a higher speed, at a relatively decent speed, to create jets like a stove in your kitchen, and that's how the stove works. So one other thing to note is this edge around here can be like sharp as a razor after you cut it. So the first thing you want to do is take sandpaper, as shown in the video, and smooth it out so that people can't get cut on it. So then the simmer ring just slips right in there nicely. I didn't make a simmer ring from here, but they're relatively easy to make. It's just the bottom, like I said. You just take the bottom of the can and then cut this out with an X-Acto knife, or score the edge of it, and then pop it out. This is a little brown because sometimes I use S-bits on the other end of the stove. So that is my quick tutorial on making a penny stove. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please share it. Please like my video, and share it on Facebook. Check out my website, yourpathtoadventure.com. I have a forum and I have blogs up there, and you have the ability to create your own blog and start blogging around about your own adventures. So thank you and have a great day.
Ooh, man, that's cool. It's shaking.
It's the pen
Yeah, I know.
vibrating from
Because Smoke's trying to escape. Is that why, Dad? Or is the fire trying to
it's just a